All right, we're live and welcome to the January board meeting of the Land Bank, Good Neighbor Action Team of the Fort Scott Land Bank. We'll go ahead and start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Confirm we have a quorum. We'll go ahead and approve the minutes of the prior meeting. Did everybody get a chance to review those? To entertain a motion to approve. Jim? Yes. Okay. Second?
So moved.
All those. Beg pardon?
There's two.
Oh, meetings.
From the first and the 19th.
Okay. So we have, hey Patrick. So this would be a motion to approve both the minutes from the December 1st meeting and the December 19th meeting. And we have a motion and a second. Bailey seconded it. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any old business? We have the introduction of the land bank manager. In attendance is Pat Bishop, and he was hired at the first of the year. Any discussion? Pat comes to us with a wealth of knowledge about, he has done several tax, or helped with the preparation of tax sales in the past. And we hit the ground running on basically January the 2nd or 3rd, probably the 3rd. And he and I have met at least weekly just to see if there's anything I can help him with or anything that he needs help with. Pat, would you like to say anything? Get right in front of that microphone.
Appreciate you guys having. I appreciate you guys having faith in my abilities to carry out this job. I think it's going to be an interesting concept. I have another job already, so I don't know why I need the darn thing. But I think it's going to be interesting. I moved to town, within the last year and all, so I kind of feel to that I need to do something back to the city. Down in the country for years and years. County, so I need to maybe like I said, get back to the community. So this is an opportunity for this done. We can work together and improve it.
And Pat's been working mainly like 1 to 5, not necessarily the entire time, but he's made himself available for phone calls, and we'll need to get that out there that his office hours where he can be contacted by the public would be basically 1 to 5 Monday through Friday. So we'll do that. You've already met with one of our mentors down in Pittsburgh, I understand. And
very helpful, very informative, all, and I'm sure I will be posting on her again and again and again.
Yeah. That's all right. Any okay? So with the new business, board expectations of the land bank manager, and Pat did most of the agenda gathering or creating the agenda. So he's kind of wanting to know what our expectations are. How do we measure his work, body of work, and so I'll open that up.
Yeah, I mean, just appreciate you knowing, or appreciate knowing what emphasis I'd be placing on things. Like, kind of understand we probably need to get rid of or convey, or however, the residential properties first of all, and maybe worry about the vacant piece of property. I don't know kind of what you guys' focus might be. I do know that probably the primary focus at this point in time should be getting deeds from any owners that I can get deeds from, so I'm going to talk about that shortly. But beyond that, I kind of would like to know just folks that have more experience with this process than I have, so I need some direction.
I would like to just see on a weekly basis when we have our meeting, I guess, not a weekly basis, but what you've accomplished, and then what your plan is for the going forward.
Progress report.
And then that'll kind of open up discussion for where we see things also.
Sure. So, emails. I mean, I need to get everybody's email address.
I think it's just at the meeting itself would be fine.
Monthly meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe he could get it to Lisa ahead of the meeting so we could, and she could send it out with the agenda. We could review and then be prepared to discuss it at the meeting.
Sure.
Would that work?
You know, some of the low hanging fruit, like right now, we have 2 donations that just need to be, the deal needs to be sealed. There's a couple of, maybe one more legal thing that we have to do at the title company. But go ahead and get that done in the next few days or before we meet again. And okay, very good. Josh, you have anything?
No, when I was doing the state statute, I just want to make sure, like I was telling Craig before January 31st, we have to show receipts and disbursements from all funds and property transaction, and we have to publish a list of all our inventory property by January 31st. So we'll have that done. Perfect.
Drop off newspapers for report to the city and all. I mean, receipts and disbursements. Is somebody internal from the city going to be doing that? I mean, nobody here signed a check or anything.
Our bank balance as of today hasn't changed, but I don't know, maybe $50 from the last meeting. It's $3,457.82. So, Devin and Brad can get us that balance at any time, but that's what it is as of today.
Receipts and disbursements. When last year there haven't been any other than
Well, no, in the last year, basically, it was the money from the city.
Yeah,
Coming
we
in
received
and-
5,000, and we've used down to we used about $1,500. Most of that
Yeah.
on deed work.
Yeah.
Um,
With security first.
mhm.
I can get you the detailed list.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll need that.
Yep.
So we basically have one transaction of money in and 3 or 4 or 5 transactions out this year. Pretty simple for 2022. All of the properties have come in except one, and that would be 201 South Crawford, which went to the county probably in late
For no
November.
monetary exchange.
Yeah, no exchange. They agreed to demo the building at their cost, and no cost to them because they're a government entity, and it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
So I guess another thing, what's your plan for getting properties sold or?
Well, I think, I mean, I know Bailey's kind of informed you of the law on that and all, and I did have actually, and maybe you've seen this already, but I went to security first and I asked her what the heck the reason is behind, having to wait a year and then, 15 years and we're never going to issue a title policy. No matter what.
Referencing the properties that come over via tax sale.
Right,
Yeah.
So this is just, this is what they go by.
Yeah, and this is what I brought to you guys early on. And yeah, well, some people.
I didn't know if anybody.
Yep.
So, so what I've done so far, I mean, I met with Deanna Gehring about it, and quite candidly, I asked her, whether there are alternatives to using security first, and she recommended that I not go elsewhere, so I did, and I communicated with the Crawford County Abstract. They obviously have the same parameters with respect to properties within a year of foreclosure sale and all. However, they did say that whoever underwrites for them would undoubtedly issue a title commitment 3 to 4 years after tax sale. So there's a little bit of light at the tunnel for that. I also had attempted to communicate with Wyandotte County. They have 4,000 pieces of property in their inventory. And so I just have to be honest with you, I've not found the right person to talk to you, but I'm sure there's, them having that many properties, they can't afford to wait 15 years here to 4,000 properties and that kind of thing. So how many, I don't know how many they put the list on. So anyway, I just have not found the right person to communicate with up there and all. But hopefully I'm going to be in touch with them again and or continue to try to get hold of somebody up there and figure out what they do. There's got to be a workaround. I mean, the fact that Crawford County Abstract says we can do it in 3 to 4 years, that tells me that's, it's not an ironclad. What Security First told me, what Debbie told me basically was that they just don't want the hassle. It's not really anything statutory beyond that first year. It's just that they don't want to have to defend something 14 years down the road, 13 years down the road, and that kind of thing. So it's more of a
They're looking at the potential liability. If you are checking outside of Security First, you might check with Meridian Title in Lynn County.
That Mound City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, I think it's all based on who underwrites their title insurance policies.
Yeah,
So,
just like she said, she knew of nothing statutory.
Yeah.
It's just an internal policy. So
A little bit more conservative
yes, sir.
um,
Absolutely.
with their approach.
Do we know how many we do have clear title to yet?
I didn't know, sir.
Okay.
I'm working on that. I tell you what, I got this for each one of you to look at too. This is a listing of all of our properties. So we have 47 properties in inventory now. 3 of those we haven't received deeds yet too, because I think the county didn't catch that. Didn't catch 3 properties. There are 3 properties that are owned by Summit Core Services, and so Laura is supposed to be preparing deeds for those 3 properties. So at the end of this, should have 47 properties in our inventory. This is a spreadsheet just kind of showing each property. I haven't done all the research on them yet, but basically just I'm kind of curious about the frontage, obviously, and that's what the one column is. The value of the county's valued at. I'm going to get in there the date of the deeds of the county, because that's going to be critical too. And then Craig already helped me a little bit on the personal service aspect. So I think he did some research on whether we got personal service on property or not on the defendant, I should say. So
At least on the
following up on
first,
that.
at least
Yeah,
the ones in the spring, I believe there were 7 personal services done, and you.
My game plan is that when in the foreclosure sale, for anybody I got personal service on, it's coming by a certified letter, and it's basically it's a lawsuit, it's a nasty gram. So my game plan is that I would like to write each one of these individuals that I've got personal service on, say, hey, listen, let's work something out here. It's for the benefit of everybody and that kind of thing. So that's my game plan the next week or so. Is to get letters to each and everybody that I got personal service on.
okay, so I'm a little bit
County got
I'm a little bit confused. The name listed here was the last owner of record, and Land Bank is currently now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So,
So there's nothing we can go back and do on these. Correct. They've already been. It's done. They come to Land Bank.
They can,
In
I think I still get a deed from them.
Yeah. I've done it several times.
Yeah, I think that kind of what the indicator is.
and then it would drop to the 1 year per
security.
Security First policy.
no, it would. If you can get a deed, it'd be right away.
it's right away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
And on that first batch, I think there was a couple we thought were going to be true ghost titles, and come to find out, I think we found some errors. And so if we can get an error or the original original owner to sign over, which deed is it? I'm sorry, quit claim deed. Then we own that property immediately and could post it for sale the next day.
That has to be done within a year of the tax sale.
That's
Correct.
That is correct, and we still have to wait a year, I believe, because no, we didn't.
Not if we can make contact with the original owner, or with the original owner or their heirs.
So have you guys listed any properties yet for sale?
No.
No.
Any
We-
plans to soon, or?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we've got those 2 donations that could go
So do we need to go
pretty
ahead and
quick.
put some stuff in the paper, because we have to do that 30 days prior?
No, yeah, I mean, no, we're not in that position yet. I've spoken to Paul Stedman, there's a property, it's
On Elm Street.
Yeah, 1401 Elm.
Yeah.
One who lives there. And, Paul is going to, I didn't know the mechanics of deed preparation. My understanding is that at one point in time, you folks were having security first prepare deeds.
Yes.
And
they're
sadly,
there.
And no, I've talked to
Yeah.
Debbie, she's ready to go on.
Mhm.
So-
But that's something, I mean, I've done a quick claim deed, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Like the Paul one should be easy. I mean, we can get Paul to sign it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can draw it up
Yeah,
and having,
are these three
Yeah.
three at the
Yeah.
bottom the ones that are potential donations?
Yes.
And sadly, the bottom one has passed.
Yes. Yeah.
so what's stopping from posting this list just to get it out of the way? So we're not all of a sudden
Well,
wanting to sell
not
it
the
within 30
not
days.
the bottom 3 because those aren't
Well, I
ours
mean-
yet. But you mean the ones
In
before?
the newspaper?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's, I have a publication.
Okay,
I've
okay.
already got that, this here, but yeah, this is, I've got that out. That's what I'm publishing this Wednesday or next Saturday, whenever it is. It's just all 47 properties that have this.
I mean, do we have to put anything that say these properties will be available for sale and then after 30 days?
The legal notice, so.
This just says that we're holding in our inventory the following parcels.
So that's the thing before January 31st.
Right.
But then before we sell any properties, we have to publish that we're selling it within 30 days. So
When you get names on the-
I thought we've gone back and forth on this. I don't think we have to now. If as a board we feel like that's what we want to do, that's one thing. But I don't believe by statute.
well, the state statute says we do. Because I was pulling up the state statute in Kansas 12-5907. 30 days prior to sale of any property owned by the bank, publish a notice in the official city newspaper announcing such sale.
We were actually told by Deanna that that was not the case and that they don't do that. So
This came from the state website so I would be
Okay.
scared if we didn't.
I'll check with Dan and see what everything is.
And we only have to do it one time, so
I'm
it's not going to be
I
prohibited.
want to note before people say I don't want to publish. That is not what I'm saying. I was just saying we have had this discussion before, and
We have.
Deanna did tell us that
Yeah.
they do not
No.
and don't
They-
have to. So just for clarification's sake,
Yeah.
out of curiosity.
The thing that she does is if she moves a property or Pittsburgh moves a property, they have 7 days to put it in the paper that the property was moved. That's what they work from. And I don't, looking in the statute, I don't see that.
So anyway, that's sort of my game plan, is let's see if I can get hold of folks that I can get hold of and just kind of woo them to sign a quick claim deed and maybe.
And so,
There's
oh,
a
go
number
ahead,
of
Pat.
them out
Sorry.
here
Several, yeah.
That I think would be no problem.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree that they want to be out from under it as much as.
So are any of these properties that are worth the same without the deed or waiting? I mean, are any of these property increase in value when we go get personal service or get the regular deed, or is there some we can sell before we go through all the headache?
No, I don't think there's any that we can sell with that much.
Okay, I mean, I have a few people reach out to me and say, hey, I know I can't get a loan on this, but I would buy this and build a garage there anyways, because,
Well,
and so have we ever,
I mean, if they're not concerned about title,
have we ever tried that? I mean, we can always turn them down. I mean,
I did.
instead of holding 100 properties or whatever.
I agree with that. Let's put them out there and see if, because there's a number of people that want just the lot and don't plan on doing anything on it other than mowing it.
Is that what the board wants?
Well, for me, I see it as feelers. If they come back and say, hey, we're gonna mow it, I'd say, okay, that's not, we're gonna go ahead and try to get personal service. But if we can sell it, say, hey, I'll give you $2,000 or $3,000 and I'll build a garage there without going through all the work of doing it, why wouldn't we?
Other than if you want something more than a garage on it.
Right.
If you want a house.
Right.
or-
And that's what I'm saying, is there's some properties, certain parts of town might not ever be infill property.
Yeah, of course, I think for each individual property, that's a board decision.
Right.
That's not mine, so.
And
I mean,
I don't know
I can't
what,
approve any sale, so.
what's your thoughts, Bailey?
Well, not my personal thoughts, but our discussion on this back when we kind of first started was that for the sake of not getting properties back without clear title down the road, we were gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was kind of the discussion that was had. I would just want to be really sure that from a liability standpoint, they understand and sign off on the fact that they know they are not getting clear title, which would inhibit them in a potential sale, or if they ever had to mortgage that property later. I would want to be very clear on that, because I know in dealing with people, they say, yeah, I understand that. And then that's not the case. So, I know other land banks we've done some research on. Best practice, I think, and Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, is to try to clear up title on as much as possible. But again, that's an expense that we don't have money to cover also. So I think it's, in my opinion, probably on a case by case basis at this point. If it's something that has a property on it that, like, I think there's still a lot of questions about land bank out there. And I've seen a lot of, stuff on, gotta love social media, but a lot of stuff on, we just want to tear down all these properties. And it's like, if we got a house that is salvageable, then by all means, I think we should try to get clear title and get it to somebody that's going to fix it up, because we do have a housing shortage here. I just want to put it out there that our intent is not to go tear down properties that are sound and safe and could be salvaged. And those are the ones, and I'm not sure that we have many of those on this list, to be honest, because the majority of this list are vacant properties. Some of the ones even that I'm looking on this list that have a property on them, it's not a house, it's a garage. And I know some of them because Craig and I split this list up and drove by all of them. And some of them, the garage just needs torn down, and then it will be a vacant property, but.
Because really by city statute, it can't just be a garage on the property.
And that was going to be my next question. So
adjoining property.
So if somebody wanted to purchase one of these lots to put a garage on by city codes, it would have to be the adjoining to be able to.
Unless they put a bathroom and running water in there.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. Which a lot of people do.
And I'll ask this question because I don't know the answer, but if we do not get a quick claim deed, right?
Quick claim deed.
If we don't get that.
That passes whatever title that the city owns.
Okay.
A warranty deed is one that guarantees for the title. So a quick claim deed is they're getting what we have. If we don't have anything, they ain't got it.
Yeah. If we get a quick claim deed, if we don't, can the city move that new property and attach it to the next door property? Because that's the other strategy that we're wanting to do. Is if somebody's got a house and they want to take the lot and put a garage on it, it all becomes one parcel.
You definitely don't want to do that if you don't get clear title.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay.
But the city doesn't require.
Absolutely not.
The city doesn't require it to be one parcel. They just require you to own the parcel next to it.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes, we would then make it to where they can't sell that house either to somebody that needs a loan.
That's why you don't want to tie.
You don't want to tie them together, because if they were in a
Well, we
situation
do
where
as
they
far as
we
taxes.
do,
Yeah.
but that would not be smart for the person who was trying to do that, and that's what I'm worried about, that people aren't going to understand that. So I just want to make sure that that's very transparent and clear.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I think is important to note, because some people think quitclaim deed is like the end all be all, but that by no means takes the place of title work, because somebody can quitclaim deed a property that they don't even own over. In fact, I've seen somebody that thought they owned a property quitclaim deed it over, and nobody got title insurance because it was all inside the family, and then the next person went to sell it and it wasn't even the rightful owner. So I just want to note that quitclaim deeds do not by any means.
But if that's the mechanism that we're going to use, the title company can help us with that. They can do an encumbrance.
They can draw up
They can encumbrance and-
what's like for Paul, they wouldn't draw a quick claim deed. They draw up just a warranty deed.
I think that's what's down there.
I
And
mean, if we want to warrant title, sure.
And I mean, that's what I would. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's
And
what you guys
they
are doing on
awarded
I
that.
mean, if we have somebody that's willing to sign, then I would say, why not go ahead and do
Yeah.
the title
Yeah.
work to it, right?
But I can't imagine any of the defendants in foreclosure action wanting to sign a warranty deed guaranteeing that they own title of the property. So, I don't know if it would be able. If I were a counsel, I would not advise my client to sign a warranty deed.
For clarification's sake, for anybody watching with questions, do you want to give a really brief rundown of the difference between a warranty deed and a quitclaim deed?
Again, a quitclaim deed, you're just deeding to whomever whatever interest you have. And if you don't have an interest, that's all you deed. With a warranty deed, you actually, I can't remember from law school, there's a number of warranties that you're actually making by signing a warranty deed. Basically, you're warranting that you had good, clean title of the property, and that you're in a position to pass good, clean title of the property to the ultimate purchaser, so.
So really, if we get someone to sign that quick claim, I thought we can go and get a warning for the owner. Or the owner can get a warranty deed.
No.
So if I sign my property over,
The only way to really get clean title is to pay the title company to do, or an attorney. It doesn't have to be a title company, but somebody has to do a full title search, and you can literally go to the deeds
And-
office and look from one to the next to the next. Are there any mortgages filed? Is this the rightful owner? You know, did this pass on death or divorce or
Yeah.
whatnot?
And that was done by Security First on those 2 donations. We
Okay,
got B1s
So on the
on
two
those.
donations, I would say let's go. Let's
Yeah,
post them
those-
if we want,
yeah.
and let's try to move something. On the other ones that we don't have those, I think that's what we're trying to figure out what approach we want to take. Right?
Mhm. And I would vote that if there's any way at all to do us to track down the real owner or the heir of the owner, that we do that.
I would still be concerned even with heirs, because, generally speaking, you gotta determine who those heirs are,
Right.
so.
And if you go to
And how many there are.
yeah, if you go to an obituary, I don't know if there's nothing legal about that, but I mean, I know it's used as a tool. The one on Horton, 615 Horton or 618 Horton, 616 Horton. That one supposedly did not have any heirs, but there might be an heir in the area in southeast Kansas.
But you may have to do what's called a determination of descent proceeding to determine who that heir is. I mean, there's gonna have to be some kind of court order saying it.
It doesn't have
Joe
to be
is
a direct. Like it doesn't have to say this was the deceased child in the. You know, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that.
And if
Yeah.
you can help me, like an executor of estate, is that something? I mean, if they had that, if someone dies on the executor,
Oh, yeah,
does
I
that
mean,
work?
If there's some kind of proceeding filed where there's an executive
Yeah.
appointed, there's a determination of who
Okay.
the heirs are in that
Okay.
proceeding. So yes, absolutely. I mean, there's just different ways to do an
Right.
administration proceeding,
Yeah.
you know, probate or determination of descent as three mechanisms. But so yeah, I mean, I think Bailey's correct. We're gonna have to just take a look at each one of these properties on a case-by-case basis, because we may run into problems on one and the next one slick as whatever.
Yeah,
I appreciate the update. This is helpful. Maybe we could have like a column out to the side that just notes if you've made contact with anybody or who the
notes.
just a notes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
I mean, obviously it's going to take you a bit to work through this list, but then we could kind of determine where, as a board, we feel like the low hanging fruit is. I'm certainly not opposed to moving properties and, you know, adjoining landowners or whatever. I do still go back to the fact that I feel like we need to. Did we set $1,000 as a minimum? We did that.
Yep.
Okay.
We've had a couple of them that have came in and asked
Hmm.
and applied, so
Mhm.
I don't, those ones like that, and they're willing to take it on a quitclaim deed, but I don't have a problem.
Could we get something, could you do something, draw something up that is very clear and transparent about the fact that they are not getting clear title and we cannot guarantee what they're able to do with it after the fact, and we could maybe look at it as a board and have a standard form that they sign if there's not clear title?
Yes, ma'am.
Just before somebody goes and puts a garage on it and ties it to their house because they didn't know anything, and it makes it easier to pay their taxes, and then they go to try to sell their house a couple of years down the road and they're in a pickle.
So, you know, going back to writing letters and all, can I get letterhead and envelopes from the city?
Would that need to be
I can
on
send on email. the
Okay.
letterhead
Fair enough.
From local cross.
Off subject, but I know March is just a few months away, so have you guys decided how or who's mowing the properties?
We haven't.
No, matter of fact, I think we were kind of even curious what kind of expense we're looking at mowing wise, so.
More than what we have in our budget right now, so if we could move a few properties prior to then, that would be
I'll
great.
tell you that I talked to Deanne a few weeks ago, and she basically said they kind of started out with $100,000, and they're now down to $23,000, and they were spending between $9,000 and $13,000 a year on mowing expense. So
Well, my suggestion would be just to piggyback off the city whenever they send it out to bid to get a
okay, yeah,
better.
absolutely.
If there's no legal reason not to, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Let you guys do the bid work on that.
I would just turn in two bids. One would come from Land Bank, one of this. I mean, technically, it could be two different people bidding on one or the other, but I think if a person wants more, they'd be more competitive. So I think just to keep it legal, we do two separate bids, but
Okay.
at the same time.
On a different note, do we know who the Summit Corp is?
They are,
It's an expired corporation.
I think it was Running Fox at one time, maybe. I could be wrong.
Oh,
There's
I
a
have a
pit-
contact.
So I think, but I could be wrong, but that's what someone told me. So,
Yeah, there are articles.
which there's probably 7 or 8 on here. You might already know them, but I can give you their phone numbers and
Yeah,
addresses. So
Yeah, that'd be fine. No, there are like 7 or 8. Like I say, there's only 3 that, I think there's 6, as I recall. But anyway, there's 3 that haven't been deeded over for
Yeah.
whatever reason, so. Yeah, that'd be great content.
yeah, I think these 7 or 8 we can probably get warranty deeds on pretty quick. So yeah.
Perfect.
And we decided one of the last couple meetings that if they're willing to sign a warranty deed for us, we'll give them a donation letter
For the land, for the value.
for the value that the
appraised
county,
by the county.
the assessed, yeah,
Assessed.
the county assessed value.
And I'm assuming we're paying the warranty deed costs and everything, the file and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think we
I
would
don't know
have
if you
to.
guys talked about that.
Say that again, please.
If we can get warranty deeds, I'm assuming we're covering the cost and not.
And that's why the $1,000 minimum is to try to cover any and all legal cost.
A couple things, Deanna did indicate that one of our best resources for finding people is White Pages. And she's glommed onto the city of Pittsburgh's account. Does City of Fort Scott have White Pages account or anything I can glom onto, or?
Now, we talked about that probably at the second meeting, or maybe third or fourth, but I'd said we might need a subscription to that.
What does the county use when they're doing the tax sales? I mean, do they use anything like that, or they just go
Well,
with
it's actually Security First one. I mean,
they
the
do.
county just has, whatever's on record, but Security First seem to do a pretty good job of tracking folks down.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking at obituaries and the White Pages or something similar.
Yeah, there's times when we were doing the sheriff's sale that the county would have one address and Security First have a totally different address. Yeah, I'll get with them and that's, I have, for every one of these properties, I'm gonna have an address for a defendant, whether it's right or wrong. I have an address for a defendant, so.
We went to kind of mechanics of operation. Do you want, we need to, and title commitment issues, under looking at new business. Probably bump back up here to board membership and terms. You have the ordinance. I tried to find one at home and couldn't find it.
Before you get to that, I mean, the ordinance states that there's, all 5 members of the city commission are on this board, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Has there been some change over the years?
Just in the last year.
Yeah. So, year ago, the city commission made a motion to appoint new members, and I believe we did terms also. So, Lisa should have that.
I think
It's-
they're
yeah,
still
me-
showing
yeah, me is a
incorrectly
year.
on the
Yeah.
city website.
It still shows the commissioners,
Yeah.
and then Bedco.
Yeah, we went from 5 city commissioners to 7 members that are made up of
If I
one
remember right,
commissioner. City, county.
the city, the county, and the ready rep are 1 year up to them to send back to the commission to be appointed or not. And then I can't remember the terms of everyone else.
But we should be prepared to act on that. Will the city, so who, that was my next question, does the city name new members or
So-
reaffirm current members?
The way it says is it send off to the city to appoint, but I mean, it's kind of vague. I mean, all it says is, I don't know, it's in there somewhere about appointing, but
White board members first January.
And Josh, same thing for him, first board meeting, the commission, he was appointed and now this board was set probably either I think it was the second meeting in February of 2022. So if we were going by anniversary date, we'd be up to a point where we need to see if there's anybody that needs to be reappointed or rotate off or whatever.
So basically you have one city commissioner, one county commissioner, Bourbon County ready, and everybody else is at large.
Correct.
Appointed.
Yeah.
There was one at large, because I just put it in the minutes. We
yeah,
talked
well,
about that last
yeah, they're
time.
all at large, but they're guided. It says recommended, real
Right.
estate, a contractor, a banker,
Right.
Yeah.
which I'm sorry, I had that too, and I think I had that.
Well, that,
Yeah, all the state says is the governing body may appoint the board's, city governing body members may serve on the board of trustees. Vacancies on the board shall be filled and appointed for the unexpired term.
And when is it anticipated that the 100,000 from the
It
city
should be now.
It's
for
ready.
2023?
Yeah, it should be.
It's not.
I know, yeah,
It's
but-
not officially
Okay.
placed yet. Do you want to, and I asked, do you want it placed in 1/12 or all at once?
I would place it all at once. Just, I mean, because that's what we budgeted for. I would just place it all at once since it's,
That's how they'll put it.
yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
And that number for everybody is $100,000 for the year 2023. And my prayer is that we don't have to ask them for money next year or the year after.
City has a website. Is Fort Scott Land Bank going to be able to tie into that somehow? I think Brad was going to talk with Shane Walker. You'd indicated that to me. That you had any discussions with him about that? Or
We can, if you want to actually add things to the website, we could get you in that. We just have to get you signed up.
Yeah. The
Now, if you want your own individual site for the land bank, now that might be a little bit different. But I mean, we could probably find out where you can have a tab, says land bank, and then it goes off into something else.
you know, I mean,
That would be good.
public's supposed to have access to know where each piece of property is year round. So I think we need to.
That way, if you punch it, it goes land bank, these could be right there.
right. And
I think that's
Roll down.
And if we, and what Pittsburgh does, and I don't mind referring back to Pittsburgh because I think that they're held up as a pretty good example of how to do it. They have red and green over the parcels. Red means it's not available for sale. Green means it's available for a bid or a sale.
the GIS map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, I guess even if we didn't have a link to GIS, even if it's just on the website as red or yellow written out, 770 Osmond's
Mhm.
green or
Yeah.
red and green. Sorry.
Yeah.
Going up my computer screen that I had none of. But, okay, so I'm meeting with Justin and Shane this week. Set up the office over in the county, his office, I guess, sharing office. And Shane's supposed to be setting me up a computer over that away, so we're gonna get that done this week.
Good.
And so I have, I think it's probably important that we get something out there about the land bank. I mean, public's not totally familiar with the thing, and also I prepared a news release.
Yeah.
I want you all to look at and critique And I'll see if it's something that we should be publishing in the, Fort Scott Biz already asked me for something, and then of course probably ought to get something in the newspaper. Fort Scott Biz wants my picture, but I'm going to dissuade them from doing that. So. May not be good for business, you know.
I want to clarify. It was $72 that were different from last meeting when we talked about the bank balance, because we approved for the $72 to
For those,
get the deeds from
for the second title. Or
second tax sale. Yes.
Yeah.
So our difference from last meeting is $72. Exactly. Brad, would you let me know when that 100,000 gets transferred? Thank
What
you.
I'll do is start sending basically the budget to you in and out.
Okay.
soon.
That'd be great. Thank you.
We have a accounts payable person starting February 1st. And we'll get it coordinated with them and Devin to start doing that. Would you want it the day before the meeting or?
Whatever works for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
I suppose at some point in time, there should be a discussion as how I'm going to be compensated. I mean, you know, what the game plan is there, so.
Golf memberships. Oh, sorry.
Aquatic
My
Center.
wife.
Aquatic Center, free pass.
My wife would appreciate it.
Was it discuss contract labor?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll get you paperwork before you leave to sign.
Then I'm assuming just on the pay schedules, everyone gets paid. Is that how contract laborers are paid? Or?
You, once a month, is that fine? Okay.
This month is fine. I mean, is it a set amount? Am I keep track of hours? What was your folks' game plan there?
Pat, did you remember what was discussed in the interview?
Before
We
the
really didn't
interview, it was
talk
a set
about
amount.
that, But I guess I assumed that we were, I don't know how to do that, dividing it up between Meeks and us, I guess, is the problem.
I thought it was coming out of just it was I thought so
Oh, yeah.
too.
So
I thought that's what we had
I wasn't here.
discussed.
Is it a shared service agreement?
No. We're
So-
paying $10,000 a year.
Okay, out of the,
and,
so the
and I would do it in 1/12.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Justin indicated
So it's
to
a
me, but I
set-
didn't
Yeah,
know it was
at 1/12 of 10,000.
so he's getting paid from two different entities?
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
kind of.
Well, I guess we'd ask you how you would like to see it done too, because here's
cash.
He's directly getting paid from he won't receive checks from two different entities. Two different entities are contributing to his pay, but to be technical, he's only going to get paid from one entity, the way I understand it, correct?
Which would make sense.
So, wait a minute, we're gonna be a contract labor. Who's going to sign that paperwork? Is it gonna be Justin or is it gonna be Pat? Somebody's gotta be the contract labor. So if Pat's the contract labor, he's gonna get two checks if Justin's paying. So, I don't, we could, it doesn't matter to me either way, but just paying Pat would probably be the simplest way for me, for the city.
if Justin's not here right now, but if I was Justin, I wouldn't want to take that extra income in, because that's technically it's income too, to him. So, I don't,
And I think
he's doing work for the county and city, right?
Yeah, I think if we can pay him directly and Justin can pay him directly, I think that's the most transparent way to do it. And that would be my vote.
I'd say, city pays their part, however Justin wants to do it, you take it out of the county budget and they pay him or whatever. I don't know how you guys are working out with Justin, but yeah, that's how I would suggest too.
so when typically will you start working on the next tax sale stuff with Justin?
Well, actually, I'm working on one now. It's all Hidden Valley property. And it's going to be a month or two down the road. I mean, we just got off.
And to clarify before people ask, your work on that is not being counted as your time for land bank
just to be on record.
just to
Yeah.
be on
We all know
record
that.
saying that you are working for Justin and or on tax sales that is not counting towards land bank because they are not Bourbon County Fort Scott properties. Okay.
If they work for Scott Properties, I would do that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you would, but I'm putting it out there before it.
Fair enough, that's fair, yeah. So, and by the way, speaking of the Hidden Valley properties, we broached the subject of the piece of property that's going to be donated by Tricia Studevin.
Yeah.
She's passed on. My game plan is to put that in that Hidden Valley sale, tax sale that's coming up. 'Cause, I mean, I had service, I had everything, and it was yanked at the last minute of my recollection. So,
The one on Judson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think that's the best way to proceed.
that's my game plan at this
Yeah.
point in time.
And that's an empty lot with a garage on it that needs to come down.
Exactly, so, let's start saying something else, can't remember.
What of these are on the city's demo list?
410 South Margrave is.
Wentworth.
That's the only,
I think that's it.
I think that's the only one.
410 South Margrave.
Yeah. That's one that'll be.
And so is the intent that the city will move forward with demoing that?
It's already been bid. And
Yeah, I think that it's
The only
ready.
thing we might have to do is to waive, the city might have to waive the assessments from the land bank property. Because by state law, they can still charge assessments. And so just keep everything clear, we'll just have to waive that to the land bank after it's tore down. So,
Okay,
And-
so our land bank ADD kicked in. Did we decide on how you're gonna be paid?
one,
well, he's
Sorry.
from the city, working for the land bank's all we're worried about here. I mean, you can worry about Justin and
Yeah.
however that, so
Of course.
I just say you just pay either bi-weekly or monthly from the city.
What we're gonna
For
do
the
is
land bank, sorry.
we'll pay you $10,000, 1/12 paid monthly, last check of the month. We get paid twice a month usually, bi-weekly, so it'll be the last check of the month.
That's fair, and I, frankly, I think county's been.
Yes, out of the land bank budget.
Yeah, I think Justin made a comment the other day about that, too. The county can do likewise, although I had no idea about the interagency agreement here, so.
So you're just gonna, we're just doing a set amount every month?
Yeah.
And so on our end, our expectation on the city side is approximately 10 hours a
To-
week. And
Yeah,
then Justin,
Yeah, I mean, for me, I hate putting hours on it because
right.
pay you
It's-
for the job done, and that's our
Yeah.
job to evaluate whether you do that or not, so.
Yeah, it's basically a salaried position with the idea that in the back of our head, it is about 10 hours a week. We realize that right now, Pat's
It's gonna
already
be-
doing that, and he's already made himself available for 20 hours a week.
Right.
1
But
to
I'm-
5.
But I'm saying,
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
expectation of at least 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So, but what we expect though is during when you're putting you're gonna be working for the county a lot more during certain portions and be working for us a lot more during
Well,
certain portions.
That's a separate budget item for the county. I mean, I'm paid to do the tax sale, and I will not, charge the county even for tax sale business. I'll charge them for land bank business, but that's a totally separate deal. I get paid independently for that too. So
Okay.
So we're just looking at the body of work. What, if we know that we've got these 2 donations, we really would like to get those taken care of, in the next week or 2, certainly by the time we come back here in a month. And then we start to see where we've looked at the personal services that are on there, and we looked at, was there any chance of getting a quitclaim deed on any of these? A lot of these people are known to all of us, and if we could get them to help us have a marketable title, that would be awesome.
Okay, and then our ADD also on what did we decide on terms and board membership? Are we revoting on that again? Are we I'm okay with everybody just keeping same spots, I guess.
I mean, I think we just need to look at what they were, and then it'd be nice if we could do that today and just send it back to the commission for Tuesday. But, I mean, I think if one's expired, you gotta go through the process of doing it. Just, I mean, you gotta make sure it's all done right.
But you didn't think of any of the non-commission members or Bourbon County Ready needed to be re-upped this year? I was thinking one of them did. And honestly, I was thinking it was me.
Yeah,
my
I didn't
position.
look at the term. I haven't seen the terms, so
Where
I would
can we
think you
find
guys
them?
have only been a year, right?
Right. It'll be
I
a
would
year
think-
in February.
For some reason, I thought the minimum was 2 years.
Seems so much longer.
True.
Has it only been that long?
So
We'll, I guess we'll just get that.
Lisa, could you send that out to everybody? What the terms and the
It
structure
was-
of
yeah,
such
it was
is?
in the February. It was in one of the 2 February meetings last year. I know that for a fact. And it was laid out pretty nicely what was agreed to, what the commission's idea was on it. In fact, we'd probably go find it on YouTube. I should have done that. You think, do we got them?
I
Because
think
my-
the AD's caught up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, because I'm self-diagnosed.
Pat's diagnosed me.
Discussion of individual properties. Did you want to do that tonight, or
Well, that's,
what were you thinking about? What was
well, I
that
mean,
gonna-
I didn't know if looking at the list, if you guys, wanted some, if there are priorities after looking at that list and all. I mean, Craig's given me an indication of the number of people that I need to communicate with about certain properties, and I've started that process and all. But any other properties that I should be focusing on?
At some point, I would like to see us get to where we had some kind of a strategic plan and could look at what other potential properties we anticipate. I know Justin's made mention, and I think that there is a list, and there's no reason he can't share it with us on what may come up in a future tax sale. Obviously, nothing's definitive on that, but something with codes and the city that falls into a strategic plan so that we know, hey, we could potentially have 4 on the same block. Maybe we don't want to let this one go right now.
Mhm.
Again, if we can move them, I think ultimately we'll want to move them. But I don't know how we make forward looking decisions without some kind of a overall.
That's why I think putting it out in the paper, saying these, even if we don't say they're gonna be sold in 30 days, but these will be sold sometime soon, and I think people will determine which ones are more important. Say, hey, I want to build something there, Then we can say, okay, Pat, go work on that one.
Well, and just the sheer volume, you'll start getting these calls that I've been getting now for months. And there's a lot of interest at 1311 East First.
Right.
Probably 4 or 5 people have expressed interest in that. 116 North Crawford, some interest expressed in that. Interest in that donated one that I think is going to
And-
take care of itself pretty quick.
Has he been given, or are we going to rediscuss this now that we have the board, the makeup of the board has changed a little bit, but we did have kind of those, I want to say 5 things that were priority as to how we would,
Like a rubric.
a rubric.
Yeah.
One being if somebody was going to develop the property, and then on down the list too, if it went to an adjacent landowner. But I would like to maybe discuss that next meeting so that we're all on the same page, and the public who wants to watch our meetings are aware of kind of what we're looking at.
I wonder if that could be in the news release. The
Yeah, I
rubric
think
as
that
well.
would be a great addition.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's what I've been telling folks. I said, it's what are you going to do with the property? What's the best value for the neighbors and for the city and the county?
Yeah, by no means am I a dreamer that thinks somebody's going to come in and develop all of these lots, because I know that
Yeah.
our best case scenario is interest from an adjoining landowner on these. I'm very
most of them,
aware of
yeah.
that. But I just want to make sure we follow some kind of a process that we're all on the same page as to what that is, and the public knows what we're working off of too. Because I
Absolutely.
think the more transparent we can be about this process, obviously we're learning as we go, but I think that transparency and consistency big.
I would also like to look at different neighborhoods or thoroughfares as
Mhm.
far as, you know, like Wall Street is both zoned residential and commercial. So, and I don't know if there's any other areas in town that are like that, but to me, those lots are more valuable than something on Broadway or Judson or whatever. So we may identify some of those areas as well.
And one other point of, yeah, my ADHD was going to kick in. I agree with you. Deep breath. One of the other things that I thought about is the ability for Pat to negotiate. How do we want that to look so that it's fully transparent? Where Bailey comes in and says, "I'm going to give you $1,000. I'm just going to add this to my adjoining property," and somebody else comes along and says, "Well, I'll give you $1,000 and I'm going to put a
I don't
house on
think
it."
Pat does negotiate. I think that it comes to the board.
Usually the best package comes to the board. That's what Deanna will tell you. Deanna will tell you that she does all the background and says, "This is the best proposal I could get. You don't have to take it, but this is the best thing out there." And I don't know. I have no idea, but I really want to know transparently how we can negotiate between somebody.
At minimum, I would like the board to know what offers have come in. I don't
As they
feel
come in, you can
comfortable.
send them out in a, yes.
Is he able to email all of us?
So you can email everyone as information.
But
Just
we can't
blind carbon
respond.
copy.
Can't discuss.
Don't respond. You can send information to everyone. Or better yet, give it to Lisa. Say, "Lisa, send this out to everyone."
Best way to do it is pick somebody, put them as two, then blind carbon copy everybody else. And that way you can get reply and
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Because there will be some, yeah, we've had that. Or actually, you can do 3 here. 3 because there's 7 of us. So you can put 3 of us in a blind carbon copy.
What is our rule for land bank as far as like how many of us can?
Be in it.
Mhm.
There's 7 members, is that right? So 3 of us can
Okay.
be
Could be in
together
the same
without,
room.
yeah, without breaking.
But
Well, back to the question. This doesn't answer your question as how we want him to negotiate, but I would like to, as a board, be made aware of all offers and the terms of those offers.
I would insist upon we having something in writing.
Yeah.
That I
And
can send
then
it to you.
whenever it's brought to us, I would try everything to even the person that didn't get it be here in case they have, like you said, you're bringing us best offer, but I still would like someone to get a chance to maybe speak to us and say, "Hey, Pat didn't understand me," or something, you know. And I don't know if that's good or not. I really don't. It's,
Get a lot of people off the take, I mean, talk.
yeah.
Are you gonna have a form to fill out that gives the
there is
cost?
yeah, developmental form or a development form.
Yeah, there's.
One of the things that it doesn't have on it is what your bid is. Your proposal's there, but not what your opening bid is. And you know, somebody may and I've told people on the phone that you may offer $2,000 and you're going to make a lot out of it, but somebody's going to give us $1,000, which is the minimum, and they're going to put a 1,200 square foot structure on there. That's going to win, I would think, because we're looking at we're looking at blight. We want to reduce blight. We want to increase the stock of affordable housing. And so if we got somebody that says that they'll build something on that starting in 30 days or 90 days, we're going to really like that.
One thing I need to ask maybe Farmer is can we go into executive session? Because one thing I'd hate is to say someone's bid and us not take it and put it back out there saying, I mean, certain ways.
I would like to see the bids come to us blacked out with the name and numbered with like an A, B, C, D,
Yes.
and then we can discuss them with, offer B. That would be my.
Yeah. I just don't know why we're discussing it, even if they're blacked out, if we need to go in, even if we tell them later on, "Hey, we had these offers, but we turned them down." I just don't know if discussion, like I said, it could be financial affairs of a corporation. And so if someone, a developer, want to come in, and I just don't know legally if we can do it in open session. So we need to make sure on that.
I kind of got the executive session, the Coma law here. I'm not sure you can go into executive session to discuss property. You can discuss property acquisition,
But not selling.
Sale.
Yeah, we can't do it for that. The only thing we go in there for is trade secrets of a business corporation. If Joe Blow company at Kansas City wants to come in there and develop and say, here's one I give you. I'm like, well, we need to think about it. I hate for them to tell us, and they have, you know what I'm saying? That's what we, at the city, I mean, we have to watch that, so.
Does that not fall into the sale of property category though? If we're discussing a bid for a property that we're trying to sell them?
Well, selling, we can't. So if we acquire property, the city can go in exec session, but if we're selling,
Right.
we can't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If we, as the land bank, were looking to sell a property and we had a bid to discuss, how would we go into executive session and it not be for the sale of a property? I don't think.
Well, yeah, it could be, but it could be the financial affairs say, hey, listen, we're going to develop this motel. Well, you need to prove it to us. You can develop this I'm just saying way down the road and say, well, here's my financials,
I'd recommend avoiding an executive session if you can. Get it rolling out with
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
More out in the open
Absolutely.
and you can, like you said.
Redact the name. It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think selling it to individual would follow the state guidelines. Executive session, I can review that.
Well, trust me, yeah, we don't want to go there. We don't, but I don't want to make someone mad saying, hey, ABC Construction turned in a bid for this. And they're like, why'd you say our name out in public,
Yeah, I think as a general rule, we redact all names, on
yeah,
bids
I agree.
and keep it consistent. And then there's not, oh, they picked such and such
Yeah.
bid because it came from such and such person. Just avoid that and redact all the names. And Pat can have a system where he labels them so we can discuss as a group. We don't need to see the names I can't think of a reason.
Then we're asking them to come in.
Well, I think that
Well,
would
I
be up
think
to
for the-
them.
I think we can look at it when they send it out and redact it, and when they come in, we will. Yeah, I don't know.
And we're not requiring them to come in, correct?
No.
Like that would just be their choice if they wanted to expand upon their written application. So then it's kind of up to them if they put themselves out there.
Yeah, nothing against Pat, but if I'm someone coming in and I want Pat, but I want to now go to the people that make, in charge of you. So I want to give my proposal to them and, maybe, but yeah. But if we don't want to come in, then I just think it keeps it more transparent than coming in. So someone can't say, that's not what I told Pat. I told him something different.
It ought to be. Everything should be in writing.
everything's gonna be-
If it's not in writing, it's not being considered. Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
And are we going to require they provide some kind of proof of funds?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. If you redact, I guess Pat would know, but how are we going to know really proof of funds without seeing?
I don't need to see it, but I would think that
Of course, you don't issue
Pat
them a
does.
deed, you don't issue them a deed without cash.
Yeah. And we've got a pretty
So,
good
but if it's a
clawback
major project, yes, I think
if we had to. That's one of the things that the land bank has is a good clawback mechanism if we had to. We don't want to use it because it's expensive and that's, but. All right.
So
Is
going
there-
back to one of my comments or questions, early on, this garage. Don't want to get torn down. Do I get it done? How we?
Well, that's the other thing. Is the land bank, do they have to go out for competitive bids, or can we just pick someone to tear something down?
According to Pittsburgh, we didn't have to
We
do
don't,
competitive
yeah.
bids.
but as a board here, we have not. That's just the guidance
have
that
a
Pittsburgh gave
problem.
us, right?
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing competitive bid anyway.
Yeah, and I kind of think we ought to look at bonding too.
We all want to.
Bonding or insured bonding, same thing.
Well, the treasurer should be bonded in such amounts as the governing body may require. So the treasurer should be bonded. per
I'm thinking
state
about the
statute,
person
so-
demoing.
Well, typically they're not bonded. I
No,
don't think anybody else, do you guys?
we just require show proof of liability insurance.
Okay, maybe that's what I meant, that not bonded, but proof of insurance, liability insurance.
That
Or workman's
is
comp
paid for
insurance.
by.
That's all.
That's
They.
the contractor has it.
Yeah. So anybody that's tearing down a house right now has liability.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
for somebody
yeah,
that would
yeah.
bid.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about for us as a board.
No, but back to that, where did we stand on
Now you're the one with ADD.
Insurance, are we covered with the city? Where we at?
Last I knew, Rob was gonna fill those papers out. That's the last I've heard. He said he was taking care of those papers.
Okay.
And the
For-
person
for
I was going
Lynette?
to, yes.
So, but then Josh has found after that it looks like they were probably covered with the city.
Yeah, the state statute basically says a hold harmless clause and shall be defended at the cost and expense of the bank in any such proceeding. So
So I would just like to get something in writing.
Confirming.
Yeah, confirming
these
from
guys.
Bob or somebody that is the case.
So going back, what am I doing with this garage?
Sorry.
That's okay. No. I mean,
I guess it all depends on if we have to go.
What
So I don't know what you
what
guys-
property are we talking about? I'm sorry.
423 South Holbrook.
the city has advised land bank to get this garage torn down.
So, okay, here's my question. Is there any other properties in need of getting demoed as well right now?
Yeah.
If there is,
Matter
then
of fact, I think that probably the house that joins this dang garage, I mean, I looked at it the other day.
so my suggestion would be is to use the city's bidding process to go out and just put all these out for bid at once if there's funds, and we don't have to accept all of them. We can, or pick the ones that need it. I mean, because we have to make sure they're secure, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, if they need tore down, we might as well tear them down.
Who
now.
is going to determine for the land bank if something needs torn down? Codes?
I'd say Pat could work with codes.
Yeah, I'd like to see an expert look at these on the inside if possible, as opposed to at the curb, just to make sure that they're not rehabable.
And document.
The first thing I'd do is get with codes and see if there's any past violations, and just kind of, and then Pat Woods can go inside and check them all out.
Why not, I'll get a list of these, I think it's only really 7 properties that have a residence on them, or a structural on them. And I'll just get a list of Norm, and maybe we can mosey out there.
Because to me, those would be the most valuable. I mean, either if they can be fixed up, they're most valuable, and if they don't, they need to be tore down as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So.
I think I could come up with a list of things that you look at. For instance, if it needs a roof, if it needs new heat and air, if it needs
Windows.
yeah, a list of those things, it's not worth it. Because just like the Yet Team's house, I mean, you're gonna have more in it to do those things. You're gonna have typical roof's gonna be 15 grand, typical heat and air is gonna be 15 grand. Right there, you know, for a rental, it's you're pushing it. But
Okay, if that's acceptable, I'll start with codes enforcement folks and look at those.
I would say that we probably on all the houses that we own right now, they need to be posted.
You want to get a sign up?
Would you agree?
If Pat can come up with something like that, can we not have codes like just, I mean, maybe it's just a checklist, doesn't need a new roof, yes or no, and then any other notes about the structure? I think that we should have one of those on all the properties, which there's not very many now, so now would be a good time to do it, and then we can do it on a one-on-one basis as they come in. But I would like to have that so that, you know, if somebody comes back later and says, why did you tear that house down? We can say, well, don't remember, but let's pull it because we have a form on every property that had a house.
I would say Pat needs to do that. That Pat, I'm gonna speak from the city side here, is that we gave $100,000 and paying him, and so I don't want to draw codes away from more work or more pay and get yelled at. And I think if Pat, and I'd be more than happy, and I know Pat doesn't act like it, but he would be more than happy too to drive by some of them. Because I think you like said 7 houses. I mean, it'd take a few hours probably to go get.
My game plan is
A couple of them are pretty rough,
So we know.
as in trees growing through the roof. So
my game
even
plan is,
for the untrained.
my game plan is to get pictures of all properties. I'd like to get them posted on a website, but that may not be practical. But I've already taken a few pictures of some of these places also. What I do is I probably just maintain a file on each residential property, or each property with structure on it with pictures there, so that anybody has questions.
Anything else? It's been a very productive meeting, and I apologize for folks at home if they think that we're rehashing some stuff, but one of the things that this is a new thing, it's a new entity. There's not very many in the state of Kansas doing it, and our little group here does not have any what I call tribal knowledge, where somebody's just a resident expert on all this stuff and can help us come up to speed. When Josh got on the city commission several years ago, there was already 2 or 3 people there to kind of nurture and guide, and we just don't have that. So we're having to invent the wheel as we go.
Well, and like you said, only 3 of us can meet, so it's not. I mean, this is our brainstorming
Yeah,
session. So
that's true.
I do have a quick question on this inventory list you sent out. The numbers under land and then the numbers under building, is that a county assessed value or
yeah.
And for some reason,
or those are the specials
No,
that
it's
from when
it's
that is
I got this
assessed.
off the GIS.
Okay. Okay.
And also, I got it from actually 2 different sources. So I looked at I looked at what we were assessing, when we filed the lawsuit. And it's curious, some of them have a value for.
Yeah, I was curious about this second one down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's another.
Some of them have value for the structure.
If sucker trees have a value, that's probably pretty appropriate on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a chainsaw over there someday.
Let me know. All right. Anything else? Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor, aye. Aye.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Pat.
you. Thanks, Pat. I think we're farther ahead than we were. Next meeting's third. Right now, the meetings are scheduled for third Monday of the month. Third Monday of the month at 4:00. There will come a time when we'll probably defer to you, and if you don't want it to be that, we'll move it. But